is Jennifer Roblin, and I am an anxiety specialist and therapist and a keynote speaker and trainer on anxiety management. So in today's video, we're talking about something that many people struggle with. It's fear and anxiety about public speaking and giving presentations. So do hang around to the end of this video as I will be sharing my top tips for overcoming stage anxiety. So let's jump right in. A survey conducted by YouGov in 2021 found that 40% of British adults reported feeling anxious about speaking in public. This makes it one of the most common social fears among the population. According to a study by Anxiety UK, 1/3 of UK employees believe that their fear of public speaking has negatively impacted on their career progression. And research by the University of Wolverhampton in 2020 revealed that 60% of university students in the UK experience moderate to high levels of anxiety when they're required to speak in public, such as during presentations or seminars. Now, these statistics provide insight into the widespread nature of public speaking anxiety and its effects on various aspects of life. Perhaps you feel anxiety and overwhelm at the mere thought of public speaking. Maybe you feel completely overwhelmed at the very thought of standing in front of a crowd. Possibly you're turning down opportunities to grow within your career because of your fear of presenting. It could even be that it's costing you money if you're missing out on that promotion. Well, imagine instead that you had the courage and confidence to speak up. Imagine you were not only able to share your thoughts and opinions, but you actually enjoyed speaking in front of an audience. Imagine you were able to progress up the career ladder and even earn money from your new skill. So if you are struggling with anxiety and nerves, then you are not alone. The fear of public speaking is the number one fear in America. It's even higher than the fear of death. So public speaking anxiety is a form of social anxiety. You'll often find that people with a fear of public speaking are often confident in other areas of life, but they freeze when they're under the spotlight. This is often due to a previous event in their life where they have felt judged or been criticised in the past, and it often stems back as far as their school days. Anxiety around public speaking can be debilitating and career limiting, but it doesn't have to be that way. It can be changed. So if you're finding this helpful, then please do like and subscribe to this video, and it helps me be able to get the link out to more and more people if you can share it. So I'd really be grateful if you could do that. So I had avoided speaking in front of an audience for 30 odd years throughout my entire corporate career. As a senior manager, I was surrounded by my successful teams, and I was able to hide behind them, putting everyone else forward to speak instead. I used to explain to them that it would get them more visibility, whilst I was too scared to do it myself. But the more I avoided speaking up, the more I felt fearful of it. My public speaking anxiety stemmed back to an incident at school where I was ridiculed for mispronouncing a word. In fact, that actually gave me my first ever panic attack at the age of 11 from being asked to read at the front of the class. Back then I wasn't even able to raise my hand if I had a question, as I was too anxious and nervous. However, when I started my business in anxiety management, I realised that while I was teaching others how to overcome their anxiety, I wasn't addressing my own fear. So I took action. I decided to go and train as a public speaker. Now, for full transparency, I was petrified, but I knew I couldn't grow if I wasn't prepared to be vulnerable. I kept reminding myself of my why. So why did I want to be a speaker? Why was it important to me? Because I wanted to be able to grow and serve my clients to the best of my ability. I wanted to be able to get my message out to as many people as possible that I believe nobody needs to struggle with anxiety. I wanted to be able to step out of my own comfort zone so I could build my dreams of running a business that helps teenagers and young adults overcome their anxious thoughts and feelings. I wanted to be able to speak at schools and universities so I can do my bit to support the next generation. and most of all, I wanted to inspire my daughter and lead by example. I already knew that all of us are only born with two fears, and that's the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. So logically, I knew that my fear of speaking in public was a learnt response, a learnt behaviour, and therefore I knew that it could also be unlearned. I was able to work out exactly when my fear started back in my school days, and I was able to acknowledge how I'm not the same person as I was back then. I was also able to work out what drove that fear in me, and that was key to understanding how to unravel it. I'd always got myself in such a state at the very thought of standing in front of an audience, so I knew I had to manage my state the way I felt before I got on stage. I used a combination of breathing techniques and visualization techniques to manage this, as our brains don't know the difference between what is real and what is visualized. Alongside this, I use tools and techniques I teach my clients for all kinds of anxiety. Now, our fight and flight response is there to keep us safe. I knew that I wasn't actually in danger. Logically, I knew that. My brain was perceiving I was in danger because I was afraid I was going to be judged and rejected by the audience. I think this is a familiar feeling for many people. But this is an evolutionary response because when we are living in caves and we're part of a tribe, rejection from the group would mean certain death, as we were unable to hunt, keep the fire going, sleep without the whole tribe contributing to the group's survival. But logically, if my audience was to judge me, it would just be my feelings that would be hurt. It wasn't a life and death situation that I was making it out to be in my head. I learned how to tell my story so my audience were fully engaged, and I was able to take them on a journey with me so that I could get my point across and they would know, like and trust me and therefore listen to me. I had a system that I could follow based on a handful of prompts, so I didn't need to memorise notes. I now teach this system on my training courses. My chosen subject to talk about was how to overcome anxiety. Ironic really when I was getting so anxious about talking. But I know my subject inside and out. I'd had 30 years of my own personal experience of anxiety, as well as what I've learned when coaching colleagues and clients. So this system enabled me to overcome the dreaded brain freeze when you forget what you're planning to say next. I was aware that if I was talking to my clients, I always knew the right thing to say. So by learning one really simple trick, I had the confidence that I would never ever forget what to say next. I passionately believe that no one needs to struggle with anxiety, and I can talk about the reasons why for hours. This enabled me to craft my story with ease and to captivate my audience. I thought my voice was a little bit wobbly the first time I spoke, I must admit, and I felt my legs shaking initially. But I soon overcome that, and my audience didn't seem to notice. In fact, they found my story inspiring and wanted to know how many years I had been speaking from the stage. I saw them nodding along to what I was saying, relating to everything, and this naturally increased my own confidence in what I was delivering. I then practiced and practiced and practiced in front of the mirror to anyone that would listen to me. I know not to aim for perfection, as it is never achievable, but I was willing to try my best. I've now spoken at large corporate companies and schools. I've spoken on global stages, at multiple events, and I'm now a multi-award winning and professional speaker. There's some of them there. And the funniest thing, I love being able to spread my message to more and more people, and I love speaking on stages. Hence, I now teach others how to overcome their fear and structure their own story so they can speak from stage with confidence and clarity. So before I share my top tips for presenting and public speaking, I would really love to remind you if you could please subscribe to the video, like it, hit the notification button, because the more I can get my message out, the more people I can help. Thank you. So my top tips for presenting or public speaking. Number 1, nervousness and anxiety is normal the first time. Don't beat yourself up. Practice, practice and practice again. Know that some anxiety can be a good thing as it makes us more alert and focused. Understand your audience, know who they are, and make your speech all about them. It's not about you. It's really helpful to follow a framework with your talk so you know exactly where you are. If you were interrupted with a question or got distracted, then you know exactly where to go back to. Start with a strong and powerful opening line that will grab their attention. We want them to be engaged from the first moment. We can also engage our audience by asking them to raise their hands when they agree with something that you say. You can do this by asking simple questions related to the audience. Raise your hand if you would like to feel more confident when speaking in front of an audience. Obviously, make your question relevant to the reason why they are listening to you. Watch for feedback and manage their energy. If the energy is low, you may need to up your own energy to encourage your audience to do the same. You can even get them to stand up, dance around, anything that brings that energy back. Be your true, authentic self and let your personality shine through. Tell personal stories so your audience get to know, like and trust you. Be mindful of your body language and tone, as only 7% of how we communicate is our words. Use visual aids and presentations if you need to, but use them sparingly and never read from the screen. It's a guaranteed way to break the rapport with an audience if you've got your back turned to them whilst you're looking at a screen and reading off it. If you forget your lines, pause, breathe and say, "I believe," and the next words will follow. I believe that no one needs to struggle with anxiety. If you start your sentence with the words "I believe," it will flow from there. Have fun and know that you're there to serve them. So if you do need further support to overcome your anxiety or your speaking fears and phobias, then please do get in touch, because a trained anxiety specialist or a speaking coach can help you to overcome this, and we can build a strategy around your own individual needs. Taking care of our mental well-being is an essential part of our overall well-being. So left unresolved, anxiety can spiral out of control and have a significant impact on relationships, work, school and family life. So if you do want to take the next steps to having a happier, healthier life where your fears no longer hold you back, click on the link below in the comments and please do book on a free, no obligation consultation call. I look forward to hearing from you and thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye for now.